Welcome, Warriors, back with another episode of Vigor Warriors 2. Hope everyone's doing well today in Warriorville, and we want to continue to kind of be on our journey and continue working towards our goals. Everyone is well today. It's in the Midwest. It's pretty cold today. I love this kind of weather out there. The wind I don't like as much. The wind is picking up a little bit, so it's pretty cold. But it is invigorating. And after taking a cold shower in the morning and on a cold night, cold day, it's really interesting to see how the body reacts. So, but thank you guys for all the donations. Thank you for everything. I know that we're in tough times right now, and warriors, whether it's prayers, energies, whatever that you can kind of give out to the rest of our Warriorville community to make sure that we're hanging in there. It's greatly appreciated. I see a lot of great comments from people helping other, subscribers, viewers out, and that's wonderful because I think that we've got to help each other out. Remember, guys, we are in this matrix, you know, and the blue matrix has been talked to us for years. And a lot of this, people realizing they're awakening in a lot of different ways, not only just the retention, but just the world around us. But realize, guys, that it's important to do your own research, figure out what's going on behind the scenes, and not just listen to people you hear on one source or another. Try to make sure that you're on a lot of different sources so that you can get the information and make sure in your gut you know what's happening. So, but thank you for helping out, and every little bit helps. Trying to raise this 1% club to 2% club and continue to move on through that. So I appreciate all the efforts, and we're kind of all here for the same reason. And I want to kind of focus on a question from Babba. And Babba, thank you. Shout out to Babba to making a comment here. And also CJ made a nice comment as well. So I want to shout out to both of you guys. And I appreciate that. And we've had some great comments over the last few days. And Bob was asking a couple different questions that I think. Now, if I'm wrong, Bob, just go ahead and text me again or email me again, and see if we can try to kind of answer your question a little further. But two questions he had. One was about testosterone as time goes on, and another one is based on will you have a deep voice after you're 30 years old, things like that. Do you get benefits as age goes on? So let's talk about age a little bit, length of time and benefits. I'm not sure what I'm going to title this, but I think that we're going to talk about the benefits as you go through a longer streak. And so I'm at 577 days, I think it's no fap, and 102 days of monk mode. And so I can tell you that through this experience of mine, that certain things do end up staying with you the whole time. So to answer your question, Baba, I'm 6 years old, and my voice has gotten deeper as far as other people knows. Now I don't notice it as much, and you guys may notice it. Go back to one of the first videos. I haven't really done this, and look at your voice as you go along. But I do notice it from the time I started to now, and you can kind of sense that you have a deeper voice. And so the benefits are there. Now let's look at this other question that he had, talking about benefits. And do they decrease up and down? I think his question was, does it go up and down as you go along? Well, remember, now energy is energy, right? Energy is across the board. It cannot be destroyed. So the energy inside of you is built up. And testosterone builds up for individuals. Now, if you're a young person, it builds up a little quicker than if you're an older person like myself. If you're an older person like myself, it takes a little longer for testosterone to go. This is why it's more important in my case that I'm doing this now, because I would be falling victim to a lot more illnesses and things like that at my age. When you're 20 years old, you have an abundance of testosterone. And so you're going to end up having a lot of it as you go through. Now, energy, once again, cannot be destroyed. You can transmute energy to other parts of your body to have you motivate, do different things. and get it away from the lower half of your body and move into, healing and doing other things. But the testosterone is going to stay with you. Now, as you maneuver it, you could lose it in a couple of different ways, right? You could lose it physically, and you can end up losing it with stress and a lot of other types, emotional types of things. You could lose some energy that way. But what ends up with testosterone is the fact that as you're retaining and you're not losing this energy, you're going to keep a lot more of it. You may lose a little bit here and there. I felt tired at times, partly not because I haven't stretched out and done my fountain of youth exercises. If I don't do those, I feel a lot different. I always do those every morning now because I try to wait till the afternoon and I couldn't do those, and I felt I didn't feel the same in the morning. So that helps a lot. But it's the activity and moving all that energy through your body that makes a difference. If you're sitting there doing nothing, well, then you're going to have ups and downs when it comes to testosterone, even if you're retaining. Because now you're going to get frustrated that you're not using that energy that's being housed in you. It's almost like a nuclear warehouse. And you have all this nuclear energy. And unless you use it for something, you could be sitting there and it's going to kind of explode in a sense of frustration. And that's where I think that people sometimes don't see the benefits as the streak goes longer. But in 577 days now, in monk mode of 102 days, I feel just as strong, even stronger. I actually feel stronger than I did back when I started this thing. And I'm not even thinking about anything of those type of thoughts like I had way back at the beginning. For the first, several hundred days, it was tough because you'd go back to patterns of history. And in my case, it was almost 40 years of poor behaviors when it comes to this. So in this case, I think that it helped me a lot to understand that and go through that, because now it's a much better type of scenario for me, and I know the difference. I can see the difference now going these many days. And so testosterone, I don't believe testosterone necessarily goes up and down. Now, as you get older, you're producing less. I believe it's every decade or something like that. But in our case, my friends and warrior friends, it's not a matter of whether or not you have as much as you used to, because you're now choosing a lifestyle. And the only way you're having using the testosterone is if you're procreating. And this is why, in my opinion, young men and young women have an abundance of this type of energy, because they're going to procreate. And once they get older, they're not going to procreate as much. And so if they go back and not using the energy, they're going to be strong, vigorous, which is why I use the word vigorous people as they get older. And that's because you're not using that energy. So will you lose some energy here and there? I'm sure we do, because energy at some point is going to leave your body. But is it the same level of energy we're talking about when you go ahead and watch images and you lose your energy? No, it's not even close to the same thing. And so you will continue to feel stronger. Now, you notice this as well as I do. When you're in stressful situations, whether it's financially or your arguments or emotional types of thing, you're going to feel tired. And so you have lost energy. This is why it's very important to even be aware on that scale of not losing that energy. But as time goes on, it's important to realize you're going to continue to have your benefits. Now, you may not notice the benefits increasing, and they may become kind of, level out, plateau, and increase little by little, but you're seeing that because you're so used to not having any of it. Before the streak, you might not have had a deep voice, all right? Before a streak, maybe you couldn't focus as much, and you were all over the place. Before a streak, you probably had ailments and problems physically. And once you did the streak, now you're seeing the benefits of that. Before a streak, you probably had no attraction or very little attraction that came from other people. And now you're seeing it. But you've gotten used to it, and it's become more of the norm. So now the benefits may not be as strong. And this is why we have to continue to be grateful and appreciate the kind of journey we're on. Because this is when people start to fall into patterns and can go back and relapse. Because they've gotten so accustomed to the benefits, they feel like, oh, it's okay. I'm not going to be affected by these pictures. And I can look at them. Or affected by this woman or man walking across from me. Okay? That's going to be the temptation. This is why we always talk about when people in wartime situations, when an army wins the battle, this is the most precarious spot, the most dangerous position the army can be in. Because once they win, they're letting their guard down, and that's when the opponents can attack one last time. So that's why a lot of people fake that they're losing, so that they can win when the other person, they let their guard down. And we see a lot of this at The Art of War, great book from Song. If you ever look at The Art of War, it's a great book about trying to look like you're weak when you're strong. Let other people have their guards down, so you can actually go ahead and then attack. Okay? So the idea, guys, is that you want to make sure that you're not falling victim of being too confident, overconfident with your journey. And this is why we always have to continue to be in prayer and grateful that we're on this journey. We've been chosen to be on this journey. So, Baba, thank you for your question. 2 questions. I hope I answered these. I'm not an expert, of course, but I'm trying to kind of give you my perspective on this. And 2 basic questions that you had. Again, you're talking about whether the benefits continue to a person that's 30 years old, and I would say yes, the benefits are there. I've noticed a change in my voice, and others have noticed it as well as time goes on, and other types of benefits like focusing, attraction, all those things work, and they've continued to work, actually, to some level. Now, is everybody going to be attracted to you? No. Are you going to be focused all the time? No. Are you going to have the same type of benefits continually for everything? No. But you're going to see remarkable differences in the way you were and the way you are. And I believe they keep growing. So the answer to your question is, I believe your benefits grow. Now, testosterone, depending on how old you are, will continue to grow, but maybe not at the same rate. If you're 20 years old, your testosterone, through a lot of research we indicate, is much higher. It can create it faster. But that's because you're trying to procreate, or in theory, trying to procreate. When you're 60 years old like myself, you have, your testosterone is not being developed as quickly because your body is slowing down. And so you've got to try to maintain that you have. And this is why I've tried to do this now at my age. But I feel as strong as I've ever felt, because I realize the difference between what I was even a few years ago and am I now. All right, so Baba, thank you for your questions. Great questions. And if I didn't answer your question, please send me another note, and I'm happy to go back and talk about it again. But until next time, guys, battle on!